Okay, hello and welcome. My name's Sam and I do a lot of the graphic design, video and general content creation here at King. So you might not know me as I'm usually on the other side of the camera. But in this little mini series of devotionals, which I've titled Treasures of Darkness, we're looking at some of the wonderful, unexpected treasures that God has stored up for us in the hidden places, in the dark and secret places. I believe they're deep lessons, the type I think you can only really learn when life takes you down into the shadows, deep into the valley. It's a title I've taken straight out of Isaiah 45, where the Lord speaking to this guy called Cyrus, the Persian emperor, who without realizing it is used by God to conquer the Babylonians and liberate his people who've been taken into exile. To this Cyrus, he says, I will break in pieces the doors of bronze and cut through the bars of iron. I will give you the treasures of darkness and the hoards in the secret places. To Cyrus, this is literal treasures of the nations he conquered, hidden away in secret vaults. Treasure that was later used to fund the rebuilding of both Jerusalem and the temple. But to us, I think it can provide a beautiful metaphor for the wonderful treasures we can find in dark places when life takes us deep underground into chasms and caves. Our Father has things for us there that we can find nowhere else. And this treasure doesn't just look nice, it's not just decorative, it's loaded with purpose, perhaps more than you could ever anticipate. Obviously, no one chooses the valley. No one chooses the paths that lead through darkness. We try our best to escape them. We do everything to bypass them altogether. And in our modern day, we're able to sidestep so much physical suffering that our ancestors just couldn't. Yet God, in his infinite wisdom, sometimes leads us through those places nonetheless. But he promises to be with us at every step. So perhaps you're in that season now and you just don't know how long it will last. Perhaps as you look out and survey the horizon, you can't quite see the end of it and you don't know which way you should go. It looks bleak in every direction. If that's the case, please know you're definitely not alone. It can often feel like you are, especially when you're scrolling through social media and it just looks like everyone else is living their best lives. But my prayer is that these devotionals will be a real source of comfort, hope and joy as we realise the very things that were meant to take us out of the action and rob us of purpose can be completely flipped inside out and used for God's purposes in ways that we just never expected. And this word comfort is interesting. The historic meaning of the word is a little different to the way we use it today. It doesn't really mean tell me nice things or just make me feel good or give me an easy life. It actually means to put in strength, to fortify. So you might think of a fortress. You could think of the word comfort as meaning come into the fort. In this historic rendering of the word, to be comfortable actually means to be full of strength. And you can be full of strength as you encounter difficult situations. And I believe this is the type of Christian our Father wants to develop in each and every one of us. He wants us strong emotionally, spiritually, mentally. God is in the business of strengthening you, the inner you, even if that's at the expense of your outer self for a time. But even in our physical bodies, we can trust him. God's got some incredible resurrection plans stored up for the future when Jesus returns. And I believe we actually need the imperishable, glorified bodies that our Father will provide to withstand the eternal pleasures that he holds in his right hand. But for now, we place our hope in the unseen. As it says in 2 Corinthians 4, we do not lose heart. Though our outer self is wasting away, the inner self is being renewed day by day. For this light and momentary affliction is preparing for us an eternal weight of glory beyond all comparison. So don't miss the mechanisms at play here. As the body fails, as we age and experience our physical outer self gradually deteriorating, our inner person can be propelled into renewal. Those two realities are very much connected. The failing of our physical selves causes us to transfer all our hope into things that are unseen, which are eternal. And this happens incrementally, day by day, bit by bit. We have to learn to stop trusting ourselves and the things around us and instead place them all in God. So there's two pictures I want to share at the outset. One is of the Kintsugi vase and the other is of the inverted valley. So I don't know if you've ever seen this, the Japanese art of Kintsugi. I've no idea if I'm really pronouncing that correctly, but it means to join with gold. I came across it in this beautiful little book called Art and Faith, which my friend Jürgen gave me. It goes into how Kintsugi was refined out of the Japanese tea culture in the 16th century. Instead of throwing away broken pottery, it's actually painstakingly put back together, piece by piece, reconnected with lacquer and overlaid with gold. And the end result, in a way, is even more beautiful than its unbroken form. All the fractures and cracks and stress lines can still be clearly seen, but now they're fused together with gold. It immediately draws you to the work of the mender, the craftsperson, who didn't throw this thing away but restored it, not back to the way it was, but into something new, and in a way even more precious. And this is a picture of what God can do with shattered lives. If we invite him into our broken lives, broken, for whatever reason and broken in whatever ways, he will lovingly and painstakingly put us back together piece by piece. It will take time, and we won't be the same as we were before. Instead, our lives will have a new beauty around them. Perhaps people will still be able to see the fractures, the breaks, and the fragments of what happened, but the work of the healer will be unmistakable, and its value will be there for all to see. Because only he can put us back together the way he did. And it won't really be a testimony of our own efforts, other than our faith that he could do it, and that our submission to him, to hold still, to go with the flow and let him do what only he can do. In this, our very lives become a treasure of darkness. Our life stories point people towards heaven, to the one who recreates. And no matter how violently our lives were blown apart, or who was responsible, or how many fragments it got blown into, our Father can put us back together. In a way, the more fragments there are, the finer, the more intricate and beautiful the final piece will be. Okay, the second picture I had was one when I was preparing this content. It was a picture of someone being deep down in the valley at their lowest point, only for that valley to be inverted, sort of flipped inside out. Now they found themselves standing on top of a mountain. It's a picture of where your lowest moment actually becomes your most significant moment, and the thing which brought you closest to God. It infused your life with purpose. And this is the story of Joseph. It's the story of Job and Jonah and so many in the Bible. Their lowest moments changed the story. What the enemy meant for evil, God used for good. It's also the story of Jesus. His lowest point, his most despised and humiliating moment, became his crowning achievement. And there's something about following God's plan for your life that takes you through difficulties, trials and troubles as his refining fire purifies us. But what we come out with is more precious than gold. God doesn't just take us through the valley. He actually is in the business of flipping them inside out and just completely changing the narrative. So I hope that's a good picture. I hope it helps. And that's actually it for this little intro video. But I really hope you'll join me in the next session when we start right down in the depths and talk through what we do in our lowest moment, when you feel like you're being completely forgotten or perhaps even abandoned by God. If you do want to catch up with my story, I'm not really going to talk about it much in these devotionals, but I did geek out a couple of years back, filming it super early in the mornings at what felt like quite a pivotal moment working through some of this hard stuff. So if you do want a bit of background and context for these Treasures of Darkness devotionals, it's a video you can find online at kings.church/treasures. Absolutely no pressure to watch it, but if you do want it, it's there. Okay, and finally, if you are watching this in a live group and you want some discussion questions, you can find a set for this session online at www.kings.church/treasures-DQ1. And if you're watching on a TV, you can scan this QR code with your phone and it will take you directly there.